So comment, subscribe, dislike, or like. Check out the links in the descriptions for other of my sites, other activities that I'm involved in. Got a whole bunch of Facebook groups you can check out. I play multiple card games, so I do music among other things, so check out the links in the description. This is my Hatchhyack High of Time deck. 1 copy of the leader. 4 Fit, the all-absorbing 4 Oceanus Shinron. 4 Trunks Power Overseeing Time. 4 Data Leche. 4 Fu Mission Accomplished. 4 Finn Cohesion Incarnate. 4 Shin Noble Supremacy. 4 Ferdinand Destruction Champa. 4 E Supreme Kai. 4 Support of the Dark Empire. 4 Power Max Power Kamehameha. 4 Super Saiyan 4 Bardock Spirit Residence. 4 SS4 Broly Prismatic Burst. 4 Toa Dark Demon Realm Scientist. And 1 Supreme Kai of Time Brainwash. So this deck is pretty basic, straightforward. Everything here is, obviously relatively generic. The only thing that makes this deck unique comes more from the Finn the Absorbing, as well as the Trunks Power Overseeing Time and the Supreme Kai of Time Brainwash. And we have Fu, because Fu gets us Trunks, and Trunks gets us Finn, or a Supreme Kai of Time from our warp to our hand after we warp them in the first place just by overwhelming. But as part of our strategy is to fill up our drop with preferably our Supreme Kai of Time. That is our main target for the Trunks play, because we want to get her. If we, obviously, ideally you want to draw her, but if you don't draw her, you end up milling her to the effects of Dr. Leche, or to the leader's Waken effect, Waken active main, and she ends up in the drop. Well, then you can just use Trunks, Overwhelm, pay him 2, Overwhelm 4, so you need at least 4 more cards in your drop in order to Overwhelm, and warp your drop area. And if she's in the drop, she'll end up in the warp now. And by his auto, when you play this card using Overwhelm, choose up to 1 battle card in your warp and add it to your hand. So it's battle card. So you can add anything. You can add a Champa or Supreme Kai if need be. But typically, your main target would be Supreme Kai of Time or Finn, depending on the situation. Because you can set it up where obviously you have Trunks, he's 20k double strike. You can take advantage of that, of course. And then Finn, he's a 25k with the potential to be dual attack. So you have the potential attack with twice, and he's an 8-drop, so you can swing with, Trunks being a 20k, double strike. Try to do 2 damage that way, and then using this card's active main ability, paying 3 black, while you have 4 more energy. So you want to do this on turn 4. 4 more energy, and then you can take 1 card from under your leader, because more likely be on your front side when you pull that off. And then, you'll be able to play him, just for 3 black energy, and then use his second active main, which will allow you to place 1 card under your leader and send it to the draw area to switch him back to active mode, so that we can attack it for a second time. And since he's an 8-drop, after your leader's effect triggers from attacking with Trunks, since this is an 8-drop, you can obviously attack with it afterwards. And of course, be able to attack with it twice if you trigger its second active main. So you get 2 attacks. So you get about up to 4 damage. 2 damage from Trunks and potentially 2 damage off of Finn on turn 4. Which usually should be a kill turn for most decks. This deck doesn't really do. You try to do damage as soon as turn 2, because typically you want to drop a Bardock's Resolute on turn 2. Turn 3, try to do some double strike, right? So that we can try to get your opponent down at least to 5. If you can get them further down to like at least 4, then that's where the Trunks and the double Finn attack comes in, right? As an example. Or you do the Trunks, right? Play, get yourself the Supreme Kai of Time, and then she'll be able to, because she has an active battle, you could play play her for, you need 3 or more energy. So you could do this as soon as turn 3, but you want to do it at least turn 4 or turn 5. Play her for 1 energy, 1 black energy. She'll be 50k because she has servants, so she'll get an extra 10k, so she'll be 50k. And she's double strike. So you play her out during a Trunks attack, right? Play her out when you swing with it, especially if his attack wasn't negated. And then hopefully he do 2 damage with that. Bring her out. Try to do 2 more damage with her, being double strike. And she does have the active main / battle ability, where since your leader is black, you could pay 1 energy and then remove her from the game. And then has the ability that you can, until the start of your next turn, your opponent can't attack with battle cards or unison cards unless they choose 1 card in their life and place it into their library each time. So not only can you go in and try to end your opponent out, you also drastically reduce their life. Well, you I said it wrong. You're going in for game, but if you don't manage to go to win, at least you'll be able to defend yourself in the clapback, because at least you're reducing your opponent's ability to attack with their leaders. With their battle cards in unison, because they have to take a life. Yeah, they have to crit. They have to crit a life every time they swing with a battle card for unison next turn, because this lasts until your next turn. So you could trigger this. So you could play her on your turn and trigger her on your turn. That way, on your opponent's turn, it will cost them life, literally, for their clapback, which means they have to rely mainly on their leader in order to try to end you out. Which probably wouldn't be that hard for you to, for 1 energy, negate that. Remember, you'll still have energy available, since you're pretty much only using 2 energy for the Trunks and essentially 2 energy for the Supreme Kai time. So you might have at least 1 energy up, or you have a free negate like support of the Dark Empire. You can play that, and that can not only that can just give you 1 negate. Gotta keep that in mind that tokens typically don't have colors, so unless this one specifies, double check it. No, it doesn't specify that it's a black token, right? It doesn't specify it's a black token. It'd be cool if they gave it a color, but for free, at least you get 1 negate. So that's in there for that scenario. That way, at least you can negate for free. It'd be nice if you can get the token, because the token would be a blocker. But Hatchhyack doesn't allow that, so it'll just take the free negate, which will be enough to help you in that clapback scenario, and then try to go in for game the following turn. But you get the idea. Everything here is pretty basic. This is your board wipe. This lets you floodgate, prevent your opponent from attacking with 7 costs and higher. Of course, we got 10k power boost and double strike through these cards. Food gets you anything 7 costs or less. So if you use it for Trunks can get you anything you want from your board. You can use it to get stuff like Oceanus, so you can reuse her. Dr. Leche is a blocker that you can reuse from your drop by paying 2. Finn, 25k that you could cheat out. 8 drop that you could cheat out and attack with it twice if you set it up right. You get a free negate here. You get a max power Kamehameha. You can negate an attack and potentially add this back to your hand if you warp 4 cards from your draw. And it has the active main where you can choose one of your opponent's battle cards with costs higher than their current energy and warp it, so it helps you with any problematic card you want to get rid of. Bardock helps you draw a card every turn. Also, he has the until the end of your opponent's next turn, they can't attack with battle cards unless they choose 1 card from their hand and sends it to a warp. So you could add set up a scenario where you trigger that effect, right, along with Supreme Kai Time's ability. So that way, it make it way hard for them to attack, because they will have to not only crit a life, they also have to purple card. So that kind of good. So that kind of stuff is good. It always increases your chance of getting the extra turn. You always want extra turns. We have rollies because it's not that hard to get this to like a 20k or 30k, 25k attacker, because the more markers he has, the stronger he gets. So he gets 5k for each marker on this card. So if you pay for to play this, it becomes a 30k beat stick for your turn. Then it has the ability to -1 choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost greater than their current energy and send it to warp. So this acts a little bit like the max power Kamehameha. So this can get rid of any problematic battle card by warping it. So keep that in mind. You want to keep control of your opponent's board. You don't want to let them keep stuff on the field. They keep attacking you with. Toa has the +0 ability at domain. Choose one card from your hand, discard it, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards 3 cost or less and send it to the warp. She has an auto that whenever a card is one of your opponent's battle cards is removed from the battle area by a skill or KO'd, add a marker. Her warp ability will trigger that auto, so she'll get a marker for doing that. And then when she has and you can -4 markers from her to choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards that gain control of it. Typically, you want to take something that's like a blocker, so you can use it to defend yourself with, or a really strong creature, battle card that you can swing at your opponent with. It's always good to make your opponent deal with their strong cards, then you constantly deal with it, right? So if you survive one of your opponent's finishers, then steal it and use it against them. And she has a 20k body you can take advantage of. And of course, our mighty Supreme Kai of Time, which essentially is a 50k double strike that, can give you a Fligate protection on the following turn, so that we can get to the next turn. Try to avoid the clapback if you don't win that turn that you played her. See you in the video.